This was a huge, a monumental victory for President Trump. The biggest legal win of this administration so far. A total embarrassment for crazy Judge Boasberg, who's been trying to force this president to bring foreign alien terrorists back onto American soil, trying to turn our planes around, trying to empty prisons in foreign countries and bring them back to our soil. This is a monumental, colossal victory for the rule of law, for the Constitution, for our founding generation, John Adams, who signed this law into effect in 1798, and for President Trump in fulfilling his mandate and campaign pledge. What does this mean for you and your family watching at home tonight? It means that the Department of Justice, FBI, DEA, ATF, the U.S. Marshal Service, Customs and Border Protection, Border Patrol, and Immigrations and Customs Enforcement now have maximum authority to find and remove illegal alien gang members from Venezuela that have been responsible for so much misery in this country, for the of Jocelyn Ungary, for the brutal slaying of Laken Riley. Those monsters can now be hunted down and expelled from this country with speed, force, and efficiency. This is a great day for America, Sean.
It absolutely is a great day for America, and it just kept getting better. More and more of these Supreme Court hearings are being found to be in favor of President Trump and the administration to do away with the newcomers who have invaded America and wreaked havoc. Democrats, I'm sorry, you're just going to have to cry. We don't care. We don't care. It's time to make things right. It's time to get these people out of the country. I'm sorry, that's just how it is. You tried all this lawfare, and it took a long time. But we're 3 months in, and finally vindication is being given to President Trump and the administration as more and more of these cases and the decisions coming out are supporting President Trump.
They plucked this man off the street. They deported him in violation of a court's order. They acknowledged they did it in error. They refused to lift a finger to bring him back. They taunted the judge, essentially, saying, it's your court order, let's see you enforce it. It was a mocking tone.
Yes, this guy that he's talking about, as you may know at this point, is sitting in a prison in El Salvador. I'm not sure if Adam Schiff is aware of it, but El Salvador is a different country than America. There is no way for President Trump or anybody else to make El Salvador give him back. They can call it effectuating or facilitating or whatever they want. He's not coming back. Sorry, he's not coming back. You know why? Because he's in a different country, a sovereign country. What are we going to do? Send over the Navy SEALs and break the guy out? Nope. They want President Trump to facilitate this? Okay. Hey, will you send him back? Nope. Oh, we did our best. Sorry.
By the administration, they never offered to try to remedy their mistake. Now they're being told by the Supreme Court that they're going to have to remedy this. Will they pick up the phone, as we know the president could do, and call the president of El Salvador, with whom he is very close, and say, hey, we made a mistake, send this guy back?
You're dreaming, right? You are absolutely dreaming. You're telling the idiots who watch CNN that it's that simple. You know, we made a mistake. The only mistake that was made was the country that he landed in. He still had a deportation order, but they don't want to talk about that. They act like this guy was just some grandpa who just got plucked off the street and shipped out. That's not what happened. And now, like I said, effectuate, facilitate. The most they could do is, will you send him back? No, we can't. Okay, we're good.
They're going to obviously be most concerned with what they're always concerned with, which is saving face. So that doesn't give me a whole lot of confidence, but if they ignore this instruction by the Supreme Court and the fault by the district court, then we are really in that uncharted territory we feared, where they're simply flouting even a court order.
I'm pretty sure Adam Schiff, and I know Aaron Burnett, didn't understand what the Supreme Court order said. There was some very specific language in regards to that decision. But obviously, they want to gaslight America, so they continue with their craziness. And then it happened again.
The decision that we have been waiting for, a judge has just ruled that the Trump administration's effort to deport Mahmoud Khalil can move forward. Correspondent Brooke Taylor, live right near that courthouse in Jena, Louisiana. Tell us what the judge is saying in there, Brooke.
Hi, Martha. Yeah, this has been long anticipated and some major news. Just to first give you some perspective, we're down the street from that ICE detention center. The courtroom is inside of there. They didn't allow any phones or cameras. So we're finding out this information from our reporter who's over there down the street. She tells us, as you just mentioned, the immigration judge has found Mahmoud Khalil removable. Khalil's attorneys have until April 23rd to file relief applications. I asked,
Looky here. When you get these cases out of Washington, D.C., out of that hornet's nest of lib nuttery, and you actually put them where the offenses take place, and you put them in front of immigration judges who know what the heck they're doing, this is the result. This is what the lib nuts fear.
That reporter, what the immigration judge was able to say. She cited those DHS papers and said that the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, was able to meet that burden. And again, they have decided that Mahmoud Khalil is removable. The next question, Martha, of course, his attorneys are going to fight this, but how long that process is going to take right now for him to be deported. We'll send it back to you.
Right.
And while they fight it, guess what? You stay detained. You don't get to walk around free. You're going to be in jail. So they're probably going to want to expedite it. And maybe, they're going to tell their client, yeah, you got to go. They're not going to change. Because now with the Supreme Court ruling to back up what the Louisiana Immigration Court said, there's nowhere for this guy to go. You bye-bye. That's where you got to go. Bye-bye. Time to be deported. At least some people in the media read the actual Supreme Court decision, and they're like trying to tell people you might be being misled by guys like Adam Schiff.
Taken together this week and what it means.
Yeah, let's start with the decision last night. The order is a win for the Trump administration, and at least that's how they're going to play it. Here's what I mean. A real win for Garcia would have been an order that says, hey, administration, I hear the Salvadorian president's going to be here Monday. Put Garcia on the plane, seated next to him in a reclining seat, and he better be here Monday with the president. That
You got any more wishes when you blow on that birthday cake? You're expecting the Supreme Court to tell the president of another country that, hey, when you come here next week, you better have him on the plane. And you know what the president of El Salvador would have done? He would have given the Supreme Court the double barrel salute. Are you kidding me? Are these people nuts? Well, the answer to that is yes, obviously.
would have been a clear win. The reason I say this, the administration is going to call this a win, is there's a lot of space, a lot of loophole potential in this order. Consider this. One of the lines that we put up there on the screen was that the court ordered him to be returned, or excuse me.
Yes, excuse you. We will excuse you because you just lied. You knew, you tried to be cute. Now listen how he explains it.
To facilitate his return so his case could be handled as if it was properly handled.
Effectuate is the word.
Remember, the 2019 order for Garcia by an immigration judge just really prevented his return to El Salvador. In theory, any of the other 193 countries out there might be perfectly all right. And if his case was handled the way it should have been, that could still result in his removal. And then there's even bigger wiggle room for the administration in the language with one word, effectuate.
So, like I said, it's effectuate, not facilitate. So they're trying to do some nuances here and try to pretend like it's not that bad. They gotta go get him. No, they don't. You have to effectuate. Like I said, hey, will you bring him back? Oh, no, too bad. That's it. I mean, John Roberts could have been stronger with his decision, but he still was ambiguous enough to let everybody know that these idiot judges cannot usurp Trump's authority under Article 2.
Yes, the lower court's order remains in place. The administration has to effectuate his return, but the court has to clarify, what does it mean by effectuate? I guarantee you, and here I am saying it now, the administration is going to say that whatever the district court clarifies effectuate means, the administration is going to say, well, guess what? We say you don't have the power to order us to do that because you're essentially ordering us to engage in international relations, which you, an Article 3 court, another branch of the government, cannot order us to do. And we're going to be right back here where we were this last week as this goes back up through the courts. I will just say, Joe, you're exactly right. Taken together, the two Supreme Court cases over the last week or so do stand for the idea that people subject to removal are entitled to due process. But sometimes even due process can be relatively hollow, because as long as they give them that notice and as long as they give them that hearing, arguably these folks can still be removed. So yes, a win for due process, but I promise you, hear me now, the administration will call this a win for themselves, or at least that's how they'll play their hand.
What else would you call it? Can we deport people? Yes. Due process? Can you tell me what the effectuation is of the due process? You go to the immigration court. With my Article 2 and Article 3 powers, I don't need to listen to these judges. And you have proof of that because of what Stephen Miller said and what the administration themselves said today. They let you know it's going to keep coming. You can't stop us.
The deadline for registration under the Alien Registration Act is today. All foreign nationals present in the United States longer than 30 days must register with the federal government. Failure to comply with this is a crime, punishable by fines, imprisonment, or both. As President Trump and Secretary Noem have both said, if you register and you leave now, you choose to self-deport. You may have the opportunity to return later legally. But if not, you will be arrested, fined, deported, never to return to our country again. The Trump administration will continue to enforce our nation's immigration laws. We will not pick and choose which laws to enforce. We must know who is in our country for the safety and the security of our homeland and for all American citizens.
In other words, y'all best start stepping.